Hi and welcome to the Monday Live. I was miles away there, drifting away, and realised the time has come, as it were. What's been going on? Well, I've been in Italy. We had a nice time there. Very different, in the middle of a town, as it were, between Florence and Nice. Not Florence and Nice, Florence and Pisa. And we had a nice crowd out there, really good atmosphere. And a reasonably neat balance between touring and bridge. So Montecatini is where we were. I think we will do it next year. I won't be on it next year, but there'll be a 10-day tour there. I think it should be nice. Sound is echoing. Don't know what that means. So what have we got on today? We are aiming to talk about the new topic because we are into July, and in July we talk about teams. However, you're not getting any respite because we are still defending. Okay, we are still defending. So we are talking teams defense, and we'll be talking about the comparison between the two games of pairs and teams. Hopefully in my live teams over the next 3 weeks we'll get a good chance to see differences between the two games, and that's that's quite important. And it should be quite exciting. Hard work, as always. Defence always is. We've just changed from disrupting declare to teams defence, and then, if I remember rightly, I'm afraid to say, the whole of the summer is defending, which is good. I think it's good. It's great if we can improve our defence. It's an exciting time, as it were. We're still establishing suits on Friday. I'll update you on exactly how long that will take. Okay. So what else have we got? Well, all sorts of things going on. Well, the nice thing is, for 2 to 3 weeks we have normality again, so Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Then of course the end of the school term happens, so things slightly change. The family will be off on a cruise, working of course for Daddy, but Mummy and Alfie will be accompanying as well. So, but we'll keep you posted on that. As I say, teams defence. What else is there? Well, of course, there's the anniversary, celebrating the 4 years, of course, and you are able to enter the draw on that. Just do anything, really. I mean, there's a list of things that you can do, but essentially, if you do anything, you will be entered into that draw, where you've got some fantastic prizes, of course, including the UK break 4-2, which has been won obviously for 3 times already and enjoyed, and you've got a chance for that one again, as well as software, a month's subscription, not a month, a year's subscription to Bernard Magee Bridge. So a lot of different prizes, so good luck in that. And as I say, do contact us. We like to get things more lively, whether it's on Facebook, sending an email, doing anything of that sort. That's key. And at the same time, you had the new website. So if you haven't been in touch with that, or even looked at it, whether you are non-member, member or not, do have a look and do give us your feedback. I've given you a selection of the various home pages there, and the idea is that Helen's worked really hard, and I mean really hard at that. She has been trying to hopefully make it easier for people to use. Some of you will have been so familiar with the previous one, it's probably slightly taken you away from your norm, but for a lot, we had a lot of people, both members and non-members, who found it a little bit daunting. So the idea is to make it easier to navigate. As I say, feedback's so important to us, as it is on all of the various things. So on the various lives I do, so sometimes I pre-record Wednesdays, of course. I do like to have your feedback on those if I can. Gives me an idea of what the best thing to do. Obviously there's an element of balance between what's easy, what's difficult, etc. for me to create, but it's quite fun to have a few things up one's sleeve. And of course we are carrying on our various holidays, so bear that in mind. 2 Bridges in November, one of my favourite ones, of course, the gourmet event down there. And we've also, of course, got the festive season. So you've got the Christmas, Twickenham and New Year, as well as the reboot afterwards. And I think, of course, those of you in the know, we have a Christmas cruise as well, so plenty to choose from. Okay, I now usually, I think, do a 5-level decision. So let's see if I can find that somewhere. Now, what's interesting with this 5-level decision is that we've seen similar, and I think we have seen 3 different types of hand having the same auction. So let's see it again. It goes 1 no trump from south, vulnerable against not. So you are vulnerable. And unfortunately things accelerate, and there you go. You basically find yourself in a situation where the auction has started. 1 no trump from you, 2 spades, 3 hearts from partner, 4 spades. Okay. Without agreement, you would assume that 3 hearts is a strong bid. Having said that, without Laban Soul or Laban Soul Light in your locker, it can be tricky. Okay, but it's your choice of bid over 1 no trump, 2 spades, 3 hearts, 4 spades. You are vulnerable against not. So this is the 5-level decision, which I have to say, I think a lot of these are tricky. Okay, I think what I'm going to do now is take myself to the teams page. Let's do it. Let's do it. So defense at teams. Defense at teams. Well, let's have a quick recap of what Teams is for those of you who aren't used to it. Okay, I had a number of people who played it for the first time on my last event. Always try to do 1 game of Teams on one of my events if I can. I love it. I love it. Those of you who watch me on Wednesday will see it for the most part. Do the odd pairs, but mostly Teams. So how do you play? You've got 2 partnerships, 1 playing north-south, 1 playing east-west, and you're then playing against 2 partnerships from the other team. Okay, and that's important because it means you've played the same boards at both tables, and in theory you should have the same scores, clearly. But if there's a difference, that is where the game is scored and where we see the difference between the 2 main games we play, which are pairs and teams. So let me just show you 2 scorecards. Lot to take in here, don't worry, I'm just going to focus on board 5, but the idea is, let's say you've played 5 boards. We are north-south on the top scorecard, east-west on the bottom scorecard, so the 2 pairs play a different way. You will see that if we boards 1 and 2 on the top scorecard, we have made 4 spades, both of them. And usually I use this to show how important it is to bid games at teams, but we're defending, we're focusing on the defense. Okay, so don't worry so much. The key thing I want you to look at is board 5, where if there's 10 points difference, you're not bothered, as we're going to see. So how on earth do I get all those numbers on the right hand side? Well, this one's been match pointed already, and we have to use what's called the International Match Point Scale. So all of the scores happen to be different here. Quite often you'll have what are called flat boards where the scores are exactly the same. But you can see, for example, on board 1, 4 spades made at our table. At the other table, 3 spades plus 1 made. They didn't bid game. But you can see it's the same cards being played. Does that make sense? Ace of clubs was led, same number of tricks. And because we won the board, we bid a game. Remember, you know, it's worth bidding your games. But what I want to focus on is board 5 there, so let's do it. This is the scale you use. This is half of the scale. The scale does actually go up to 24 imps. Yes, I'm looking that up. 4,000 or more difference. So if there's a 4,000 point or more difference, you get 24 imps. Doesn't happen often. I think it's recorded or once or twice been recorded at international level where there's been a big mishap and they've ended up being redoubled and going a long way off. Okay, here it is. Here's the imp scale. So if we look at that fifth board, it was minus 420 at one table and plus 430 at the other. Now, playing pairs, the difference of 10 points is really valuable. And we all know that. Making 3 no trumps plus 1 outscores making 4 hearts. And that is huge. If everybody makes 4 hearts and I make 3 no trumps plus 1, I get a top. However, playing teams, 10 points, look at down below, scores 0. So it makes no difference at all. And we're going to see that over tricks particularly are very, very little value. I mean, let me show you another score. This is the one I want to focus on, which is, of course, showing you over tricks and contract making. So we are playing north-south on the top scorecard, boards 1 to 4 here, and we've allowed our opponents to make an over trick on 3 hands. Can you believe that? We've let them make an over trick. That would be a disaster playing pairs. Playing teams, an over trick, as you can see, is worth just 1 point. However, we might have given 3 over tricks away, but we took our opponents down on board 4. What a difference. Because at the other table, they were more careful in defence, but they ended up not taking any of the games down. So they won 3 of the boards in inverted commas, and they did. They got 1 imp on boards 1, 2 and 3 by not allowing any over tricks. However, on the 4th board, because we took the game down, we have gained 720 points. 720 points, which is worth 12 imps. So add them all up. We've gained 12 and lost 3. We've ended up plus 9. Even though we've lost 3 out of 4 boards, plus 9. So let's put that into perspective here. Okay, here's the one. I haven't even gone up to 720 here. I'm just looking up. 600 to 740 is 12. Okay, so, so that's not on there. But what's focusing here? I want to focus on the over tricks. Over tricks are just worth 1. 2 over tricks, just 2 points. And yet a game is worth 12. Okay, a game is worth 12. So 1 over trick and a game. It is 12 times more important to take the contract down than to worry about an over trick. So playing pairs, that scorecard I showed you, you would have got 3 bottoms and 1 top, or 3 tops and 1 bottom. Okay, so as defenders, if you had managed to stop declarer making over tricks, and on every board you'd have got 3 brilliant scores. Does that make sense? So you'd have been very happy with yourself and you stopped those over tricks as defenders. Okay. However, playing teams, what a difference. Okay, so we're looking at it the perspective of the people declaring. The declarer would have made 3 over tricks for 3 tops, but would have lost at teams. Isn't that crazy? So 4 hearts plus 1, 4 spades plus 1, 4 hearts plus 1, and 4 hearts minus 1. Okay, what we saw was that the over tricks playing teams are worth very little. Now, if they're there, you take them. Don't get me wrong, if you're a declarer, you know, and you've made, I don't know, 10 tricks and you've got a chance to take a finesse for an 11th, go for it, of course. It's worth 1 imp. The point is you don't risk your contract. As defenders, let's work out what our plan is. Well, let's look at the tactics. Over tricks are not so important. So we can take risks now. Can you see what I mean? I can lead away from a king, and if the queen makes, so be it, they make plus 1. I don't mind. I was trying to get the contract down. Playing pairs, you can't do that. All the time playing pairs, you tend to play safe. Very rare that you take risks. There are times, but really quite rare. And we're going to look at two. We're going to look at two opening leads on these hands. Okay, and what we're going to do is see the comparison between teams and pairs in a moment. Okay. So we can make aggressive leads and switches, particularly if they're strong. If we think, I mean, if they open 2 no trumps, 3 no trumps or something like that, you know, the chances are most of the time they're going to make easily. Let's try and develop a long suit. Playing pairs, it's different. Playing pairs, if you think they're making 3 no trumps easily, you've got to avoid them making 3 no trumps plus 1 or 3 no trumps plus 2. Sometimes I give a set hand where you can actually make 11 tricks are the norm. We've got to avoid declare making 12 tricks. It's difficult, but that's your job. That is pairs. Teams bridge, you don't have to worry about that. Your aim is to get a contract down. Okay, so that's what we go for. So let's sum it up again. Active defense. What does that mean? Well, we are going to take risks, particularly when they are strong. Attack, attack, attack. It's very rare that at pairs. At teams, it's quite common. Okay, so doubleton leads are okay. Now, some of you probably think, oh, I love doubleton leads, etc. I hate them at pairs. I really do. They win 1 in 10. They lose most of the time. At teams, though, what's interesting, even if they only win 1 in 10 times, remember what we saw just now. 12 imps for getting it down, just 1 imp given away if they make an over trick. Well, can you see it's worth it? It's worth taking a gamble, because if you win even just 1 in 10 times, 1 times 12, 10 times 1, we still win. Okay. Hopefully, though, it's going to win maybe 1 in 6 times. And now you've got quite a big win. You lose 6 imps for the 6 over tricks, but you gain 12 when it works. Can you see that? Okay, so you can take risks. Leading away from honours. Now, a lot of people are surprised when I do my pairs leads seminar. And I say to them, look, I know you've been taught to lead 4th highest from your longest suit, but if it's a 4-card suit and it's got 1 bare honour, tend not to lead away from it. That's playing pairs. Playing teams, attacking your long suit makes sense because you're going to need often to develop tricks. Okay, but it is sometimes going to depend on the options. Optimism. Okay, sometimes you think, I can see Declarer's got 10 tricks. But I tell you what, if partner has the ace 10 of clubs, we can get this contract down. Now, your partner's not going to have the ace 10 of clubs very often. But if it's the only chance you can get Declarer down, we'll go for it. Yes, he's got it, we take it down. And if he hasn't, we probably give an over trick away. We don't mind about that over trick. Optimism is a great trait if you're playing teams. It's not good if you're playing pairs. If you start dreaming of what might happen playing pairs, very often you give a trick away. Okay, so sometimes we actually literally work out the precise holding we need our partner to hold. We then assume he has it and defend accordingly. When he does, we feel like heroes. When he doesn't, an over trick. Okay, so let's look at 2 auctions and see what you think. 1 no trump, 2 no trumps, 3 no trumps. Okay, 1 no trump, 2 no trumps, 3 no trumps. Now this is tricky because this takes us pretty much, when I hear an auction like that, if the auction goes 1N, 3N, most of the time I'll expect the game to make reasonably easily. Of course it might not, they might have 12 against 13 and they've jumped to 3 no trumps, but sometimes they'll have 18 or 28 or 29 points and they're going to make a game easily. You'll attack. Here though, as Ruben says here, they've got nothing to spare. So actually, maybe defending carefully might get them down. You don't necessarily need to attack here. So your pairs and teams defense is probably going to be pretty similar here. Okay, because you're actually hopeful that they can't make game even if they try. You know, they need a bit of luck perhaps. Let's be honest, playing teams, sometimes we even stretch. So it wouldn't surprise me that they might even have 24 points between them. Remember, we try for games. Maybe it goes 1 no trump, 12 to 14, and an ordinary 11 points, 2 no trumps, and South thinking, well, I've got 13, but I better go for it. Okay, so they might just have 24 points here. However, an auction like this, 1 heart, 3 hearts, 4 diamonds, slam try, 4 hearts. To me, that sounds as if they were looking for slam and they've just decided to settle for game. The chances of getting that contract down are very, very low. So we need a bit of luck. You're going to need maybe a ruff somewhere, something like that. It looks like they've got most things covered. So we would be active and aggressive in defence against the 4 hearts. So let's show you the 2 examples we've got. Here's your first one. This is similar to one of the ones in the seminar, so some of you might recognise it if you've seen that big seminar. Don't forget, we always have a big seminar on the site for the members, and then a chance to play the set hands. So it goes 1 heart, 3 hearts, 4 clubs, 4 hearts from your opponent. So you're not bidding, of course. I should say you're sitting in the west seat. So 1 heart, 3 hearts, just natural bidding. 4 clubs is a slam try, a cubid, 4 hearts. And you've got to choose your lead. And I would like you to choose 2 leads, 1 against a team's contract and 1 in pairs. And you should be leading slightly differently. Okay, in a team's game and in a pairs game. Okay, so quite often they will be the same lead, but definitely not here. From my point of view, playing teams, I think they've got enough to try for slam, so I'd expect them to make this contract 90% of the time. I think the only chance we've got is to get some kind of ruff. So against teams, I would lead the king of diamonds here. Okay, this is at teams. I don't mind the king of diamonds being gobbled by the ace and giving an overtrick away, but there's just a chance that my partner has the ace of diamonds, and if my partner has the ace of diamonds, we might be able to get a diamond ruff. It's a wild lead at pairs. At pairs, we're expecting 4 hearts plus 1 to make a lot of the time. I wouldn't be surprised if you lead the king of diamonds, they make 4 hearts plus 2. Okay, and then they start arguing about why they weren't in a slam. Okay, so I think at pairs, I'd probably just lead a trump. Okay, would seem a normal lead. At teams, I think the king of diamonds is an aggressive lead. We don't know whether South has got the ace of diamonds or not. We do know that South probably doesn't have control in spades. So I don't mind at pairs. The 4 of spades might be okay. The problem is the 4 of spades might look as though it's from an honour and might confuse your partner. So I think a trump lead for me is what I do at pairs. At teams, though, I'm going to lead the king of diamonds. Okay, so let me show you the hand there. South is sitting with 18 high card points and 5 hearts. He doesn't have to try for a slam, but he's decided to bid 4 clubs just in case. And North has decided, although he has got control in spades, he's got a pretty ordinary hand, 4-3-3-3, and has signed off in 4 hearts. It is no surprise to see that you only have 3 top tricks. It is true that if you lead a spade here, your partner could win the ace of spades and underlead his diamonds. You could still get it down on a spade lead here. Your partner might. The problem is yeah, you might do. It might go 4 spades to the ace, but partner might play you for a singleton in spades and try a spade back. It's less likely, but no, he could do. I think if you lead a spade, he might lead a spade back, hoping for a ruff. But the king of diamonds, as you can see, your partner will say brilliant lead, ace of diamonds, diamond ruff, and you take it 1 off. Okay, but it's in a very aggressive lead. I don't expect it to work. It won't give a trick away every time. I think it's going to work about 1 in 3, 1 in 4 times where it either gains a trick or takes the contract down. Okay, but 1 in 4 times it works. I think 3 in 4 times it's going to be more like this. And that's what's crucial here. The king of diamonds isn't always going to win. So here, again, South has made a slam try. He's got an even better hand here, 19 points. But he's missed out. When he bids 4 clubs, he's missed out spades. So, of course, North, with no spade control, would simply bid 4 hearts. If you lead the king of diamonds here, declarer makes 11 tricks, very simply. Okay. If you lead a trump, declarer only makes 10. Now, that costs 1 imp playing teams. Does that make sense? So the king of diamonds would be won with the ace of diamonds, declarer would draw trumps and would only lose the ace and king of spades. Clearly, if you don't lead the king of diamonds, declarer will lose the ace and king of spades and the king of diamonds. So declarer makes 10 tricks normally, 11 tricks when you lead the king of diamonds. The king of diamonds is a complete disaster playing pairs. You get a complete bottom here. But playing teams, it's just 1 imp. Can you see that? So it's a really hyper aggressive lead here. Okay. But you don't want to be doing it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's lovely. So the previous hand, let me just go back. On that previous hand layout, I would not take 4 hearts down if I was playing pairs. I would lead passively and I would expect declarer to make 10 tricks. I know I can get it down, but I'm not prepared to take that risk because most of the time it'll be this layout and I will have given a trick away. Okay, so playing pairs, you generally got to play safe. Yes, if you did do that miraculous lead, you'd have got a top on that board, but believe you me, you'll be getting a lot of bottoms. Okay, whereas playing teams, you're only giving one imp away. If you give the over trick away, you play vulnerable, you're gaining 12 imps if you take them down. So it's 12 times more important to try and get it down. Does that make sense? Let's look at one more. Okay, again, you're not going to be doing any bidding. South opens a heart, North bids a spade, 1 no trump, 3 no trumps. Okay, 1 heart, 1 spade, 1 no trump, 3 no trumps. What do you fancy leading? Okay, and once again, it's what you're going to lead against teams that I'm really interested in, but please do decide what you'd lead against pairs as well. So on this auction, they could be quite strong. We don't know though, of course. They could be exact. North could have precisely 10 points, couldn't they? Okay, so North could have 10 points, so they might be struggling, but it feels like a pretty strong auction. What can I do to establish something in partner's hand? Well, it's not obvious. I think the most obvious place to attack, and this is if you want to attack, would be to lead a heart here. Okay, an attacking lead, if partner, you know, North could easily have a singleton, for example. Sometimes you think, well, partner's got the hearts covered. And we've all been there when they play in 3 no trumps and their weakest suit happens to be the one that declarer has opened. The point about leading the 6 of hearts, which is what I would choose at teams, is that it's risky. However, if partner's got the king or the ace of hearts, I have got an entry with my long hearts. And there is a fair chance that we could then make enough tricks to defeat the contract. So I'm prepared to gamble. Clearly, a lot of the times it just gives a trick away. Declarer's got the ace jack of hearts, maybe North's got the king doubleton, something like that. And your opening lead gives a trick away straight away. So if you're playing against pairs, and remember, we're not worried. So if either player had bid hearts here, we wouldn't want to lead it playing pairs. So if North had bid hearts, for example, I still wouldn't want to lead hearts against pairs. I'm not prepared to take the risk here. Okay. The reason why I like it when South has bid it is my hearts are sitting over South. So if South's got king jack to 4 or ace jack to 4, I've got lovely hearts here. If you had queen 10, 4, 3, 2, it's different, those 4, 3, 2. But here, you feel as if you're sitting over what what South has. So if partner does have the ace, king, or even jack of hearts, you have got the potential to develop this trick. So if East, I should say, has one of the ace, king, or jack of hearts, you really have got reasonable potential to establish this suit. The only thing is, it is a gamble, because sometimes you will develop a trick for declarer by leading those hearts. So playing pairs, I'm gonna lead the 6 of hearts. So playing teams, sorry. I think against pairs, I'd lead the 10 of diamonds. Okay, so the most passive lead, I think, is the 10 of diamonds. The most aggressive lead is the 6 of hearts. And those are the 2 terms I want you to think about. Defending at teams, we tend to be aggressive. Defending at pairs, we tend to be passive. So here's the layout I'm hoping for. Playing teams, you play a heart to the king, and whatever declarer chooses, you actually could well defeat this contract by 2 tricks. Okay, you make 4 hearts and 2 aces. But the crazy thing is, if this was pairs, I would probably not defeat it. Okay, because partner will probably switch to hearts. Yeah, so you might still defeat it by 1 playing pairs, but you won't get it down by 2. Yeah, you might still defeat it. So you'd lead the 10 of diamonds, and I think East will be thinking, well, the only chance of getting this contract down is for me to switch to hearts. And you might get it right. Switch to the 4 of hearts, maybe partner wins, plays back to your honour. That's no good. It would have to be, does it have to be the 9 of hearts switch? Still, yeah, it would. You'd have to lead the 9 of hearts, because you never get the lead again, if that makes sense. So if you led the 4 of hearts and declarer played small, declarer can win the next heart, the king with the ace, and of course East doesn't get on. So the heart lead's sure of getting it down. It's not easy to get it down. But if you do switch to the 9 of hearts, which maybe looks right, you might succeed. It would go small, 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 and then you could lead the... No, a small heart then blocks it. I think declarer can just about manage it. Yeah. So I think if declarer gets it right on a diamond lead, he can survive. So you do need a heart lead, I think, to defeat it. However, unfortunately, so that, I think the 6 hearts defeats the contract easily. Look at this then. I think this is probably more likely. Do you not think this is more likely? Now, it turns out North is sitting with a gorgeous hand, 14 points. They're making game easily. Your heart lead gives them an extra trick. You're not worried about playing teams. 1 extra trick, who cares? Playing pairs, a heart lead is a disaster here. It really is. It just simply gives a trick away. It's as simple as that. Declarer is making an easy 9 tricks here. But it's not easy for him to make a 10th, to be honest. He's got 9 top tricks. Where's he going to look? He's probably going to look at a heart finesse. So if you lead the 10 of diamonds here, declarer is likely to think, well, I'll take my 4 spades. Do you know, I'll take a heart finesse. That gives me a safe opportunity for an extra trick. Of course, the heart finesse fails. Okay, and then he might lead up to the king of clubs, and he may well only make 9 tricks. On a heart lead, it's a disaster. The heart lead runs to the jack, and declarer starts with 10 tricks. And he might find a way of end playing you and making 11. So it gets pretty horrible. Okay, so now you wouldn't try that playing teams. They'd settle for 1 more. The key again here is the 6 of heart lead might defeat declarer. It's an aggressive lead, and when the layout was that first option, I think it is going to defeat declarer. But I don't think that's the most likely one. But the key is, if it comes up 1 in 3 times, we are gaining hugely. Even if it's non-vulnerable, you're gaining hugely. Non-vulnerable, you gain about 7 imps. So it's 7 times more important. Vulnerable, it's 12 times more important. Okay, so if it happens 1 in 3 times, you are over the moon. Okay, so again, we're looking at the differences between pairs. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Okay, so that's tricky, and it's going to be tricky. But what I want you to understand is the game you play most of the time, you should be avoiding risks. Okay, you should be trying to play safe. It feels boring, and in many ways it is. But if they make 4 hearts only, and everybody else makes 4 hearts plus 1, the defenders get a top. That is not the same as teams. If they make an over trick, you give them 1 imp. If you take them down, you gain 12. Aggressive defence can pay. Except if you think they're struggling. 1 heart, 2 hearts, 3 hearts, 4 hearts. Quite often, they're going to struggle to make. You don't need to take risks. But if it's a 1 no trump, 3 no trump auction, very often you're thinking, oh, you know, they're probably going to make this. Dummy comes down with 15 points, etc. You know, you're pretty sure they're going to make. You're going to need luck. You're maybe going to need your 4 card suits to come good, or your kings to be in the right places. So that's, hopefully you enjoyed that, and we're going to be trying that for the month, and we're going to look at it, as I say, during the teams matches that we play on the Wednesdays, and we're going to try and spot the odd difference, as it were, between what we will do playing teams defence to what we will do playing the normal pairs game. Quick little look at the cruises and the holidays aboard. Ingrid is going around Ireland, which looks interesting. That's late August, not too far away from Liverpool to Liverpool. And the other one there for you is Mallorca, which is somewhere that we go generally throughout twice a year. Okay. Passive pairs, yeah, PP, that's not a bad idea. I don't mind that, Shirley. And to tremendously active teams, TT. So passive pairs, and what are we going to do for teams? Someone can come up for something, surely. Tipsy teams, no. Tyrannosaurus Rex teams. I'll have to, you know, I've got tempting teams. I'm not sure that's working. Tempting fate teams, maybe. Terribly active teams. Teams ever active, mate. That's an interesting one. Okay, so we'll have to come up with for something for teams. If we're going to have passive pairs, we'll have to have something. I'll have to think about that one. Okay, let's go back to that 5-level decision. Remind ourselves what happened. We had opened 1 no trump, 2 spades, 3 hearts, 4 spades, very quick indeed. And to me, I've shown you one where you passed, because I think this is a forcing auction. We also saw one where we doubled, where we were flat and we didn't have any aces or kings. To me, this hand is so good that I'm not just bidding, but I am going to make a slam try as well. Bearing in mind, so we are vulnerable against not here. I should remind you, we are vulnerable. The red triangles against not with the. So I'm expecting it to be a good sacrifice. I feel that with 4 card support, ace, ace, king in the unbid suits, and surely partners likely to have a singleton spade on this auction. I mean, at most, very often he'll have a void. I mean, imagine your partner had a void spade and ace king to 6 hearts and the queen of clubs. You're making a slam here. And all I'm going to do is suggest, partner, look, I know 5 hearts is right, but I don't know. I just want to bid this just in case. Okay, so I would actually bid 5 clubs in this auction. I would feel that remember, I've opened 1 no trump. I can't suddenly have a 7 card club suit. Okay, oops. I'm supposed to be in control here, so I lost that. So it goes 4 spades here. Apologies. I'm supposed to be now in control. In fact, I'll tell you what, we'll let them all be visible so you can see them. So I am going to bid 5 clubs here. Clearly we cannot have, so that must be alerted. As it happens, you saw Q plus didn't, but that doesn't matter to me. I mean, the point here is that clearly I haven't got a 7 card club suit. The only thing that 5 clubs and 5 diamonds can possibly be are cubids. Now on this particular hand, your partner's not going to go for a slam or anything like that. The key is that your partner could be better than that. In fact, he doesn't have to be much better for a slam to be good. Give him the jack of diamonds and that might well be enough. Here it would go pass and 5 hearts from the north hand, because he knows I've got a weak no trump, so he doesn't want to go any higher. Now whether they bid 5 spades is another matter. If they do bid 5 spades, it's a good sacrifice for them. We would double them, but the key here is that I always love pushing my opponents to the 5 level, and sometimes they'll be wrong when they bid the 5 level. Here 4 spades is getting close to making the correct defences to lead spades, but I mean lead trumps, but you know, they're probably going to manage to make most of the time here. I think they could well manage 10 tricks. So the important thing is, of course, as you can see, we're very comfortably going to make 11 tricks ourselves, so we do need to be bidding 5 hearts. As I say, you don't have to give partner much. If you give him the jack of diamonds here, I'm not saying we would bid the slam, but the slam makes amazingly. So just giving north the jack of diamonds as well, and the slam would make. And it's not completely unreasonable for north to contemplate bidding onto it, because if we're saying we really love, I mean for me 5 clubs here would be pretty much saying, partner, I've got 4 card support and some aces and kings, nothing wasted in spades. And as you can see, it would turn out, if partner had the jack of diamonds, you'd have 11 top tricks and a very easy extra one from a ruff in, well, it will actually be a club ruff in the end, because you'd throw the 2 clubs on the ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds. But it's amazing. So what we're trying to do with the south hand there is get across our potential partner. We're definitely bidding 5 hearts because we've got everything right for you. As I say, if you're in an untried partnership and you're not playing Lebenssoul, it might turn out that north has a weaker hand with long hearts. But again, I think what you'll find is that your opponents might be able to make 4 spades anyway. I mean, look at the 2 hands here is amazing. Would West bid 5 spades? He may well do here. I'm going to be honest. He may well do with such a 2 suitor there, and we would then take the money. Okay, that's important. There's no point going on to a slam. You've made a slam try. If north is weak, north could have been a lot stronger, and that's the key. You know, north, remember, has only 13 points. You've only shown 12 to 14, so there's nothing to get overexcited about. Okay, but of course north could have had 16. I mean, give him the queen jack of clubs or something like that. He could have had a lot more. And if north does have a lot more, then of course hopefully he'll accept the excitement that we're trying to put his way. Or of course he could have had a void in spades. And again, with a void in spades, you possibly don't need another high card. You may well be able to scrape home in 6 hearts. Okay, let's finish with our usual. That is a bidding quiz. Sorry, I'm overrunning, but you know, getting used to these things again. Here you go. Here's your bidding quiz. Remember, you can pick this up any which way. Nobody's vulnerable. 1 spade from partner and a weak jump over call of 3 clubs. So 1 spade from your partner, weak jump over call of 3 clubs, and it's your bid. And don't we hate these weak jump over calls? Okay, so 1 spade, 3 clubs, it's your bid. Love all. And good luck with that one. Remember, you can see it on the site, whether a member or non-member. Okay, so that's us for the week. For the Monday. Thanks for your company. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We're going to be talking teams defense for the month. We are, as usual, here on Wednesday and Friday for the members. We've got the teams, and we are talking suit establishment on Friday. I'm just going to do a little bit for the beginners, and have a good week. Thank you very much. Okay, and enjoy. So let's go over here. So we have been talking signals, haven't we? We have been talking signals. We don't do much for beginners, I will be honest, but it is important to understand that you can talk a little as partners. And the last signal we saw was this high-low one. Okay, so there was a high-low one that said you've got a doubleton. Rather like when we saw high for like and low for not, there's the opposite. High says I like, low says I don't. Well, of course, if high-low shows a doubleton, if partner doesn't show high-low, he hasn't got a doubleton. Does that make sense? Let's have a look. So here we are. 4 spades by South. We haven't seen any bidding. South has got a lot of points, as you can see, because we're playing mini bridge, and for them to win the auction, North were only having 4. It turns out South's got about 20. And he's decided to go for game in spades. You lead the ace of hearts. When you've got the ace and king, why not? And it goes 6, 2, 3. Okay, so what do you do now? Because dummy has pretty good hearts. And this is the kind of situation where it's really important to get things right. Because you're probably thinking, well, it doesn't matter, I can just win the ace and king of hearts. But if you do win the ace and king of hearts, de Clara then has 2 heart winners. And imagine he's got ace, king and lots of spades, ace, king to 5 spades. He could play the ace and king of spades to draw the trumps, and he will be able to get to dummy in spades, won't he? He would then be able to play the queen and jack of hearts and discard some bad cards in his hand. So I think if partner's got a doubleton heart, I am going to continue and give him a ruff. But if he hasn't, I don't think I should play the king. Now, that 2 of hearts could, I suppose, be a singleton. But bear in mind, if East had a singleton, South would have had a lot of hearts. So maybe South would have played in hearts instead of spades. Okay, because if partner only has 1 heart, I think South would have started with 5 of them. So I don't think that's likely. So I think your partner's 2 of hearts should put you off playing hearts again. So if you're not going to play hearts, what would you play? King of diamonds? Doesn't that seem reasonable? Knock out the ace, and then you've got the ace and king of hearts and the queen of diamonds. At least you've got 3 tricks. Seems reasonable to me. So your partner has played the 2 of hearts, which suggests that he has not got that doubleton. So he's not going to be able to ruff the 3rd round. And if he's not going to be able to ruff the 3rd round, keep your king of hearts back. Make it difficult for de Clara. Look at the full layout here. Okay, so here we're going to change suit, and the king of diamonds looks reasonable. Okay, let's look at the full hand. That's interesting. The king of diamonds does get a high one. Okay, and I think we should play another one. So we'll play another one. And there you go. Partner's got the ace of diamonds as well. Okay, so let's look at the hand. And what a difference that makes, because can you see what happens if you play the ace and king of hearts? De Clara can ruff the 2nd heart. Okay, so if you play the way we did, we can take 4 tricks in a row. Ace of hearts, king, ace, queen of diamonds. Yeah, you happy with that? De Clara does not get a chance to discard on his lovely clubs or anything like that. Okay, you take the first 4 tricks. But if you play the ace, king of hearts, de Clara is going to make at least 11 tricks. Because he can discard 2 of those diamonds. He can draw trumps and discard on the ace, king, queen, jack of clubs, or if he likes, he can discard them on the queen, jack of hearts, because if you've played the ace and king of hearts, de Clara's ruffed them. Okay, and if he ruffs high, he can cross to dummy's 10 of spades after drawing trumps and take the queen and jack of hearts, can't he? Okay, so he can make it any which way. He'll make 11 tricks if you play the ace and king of hearts. So well done, partner, for playing the 2 of hearts rather than a higher one. If your partner had played the 10 of hearts, well, we saw what happened that last week. When partner played the 10 of hearts, we followed with the king and we gave our partner a ruff. Here, though, we led the ace of hearts, partner played the 2. We gave up on hearts and played the king of diamonds, ace of diamonds and the queen of diamonds. You don't do much on signalling as beginners and novices because it's difficult. Genuinely, it is difficult, okay? But it's something as you get more and more into the game that you will see happening. It's exciting. Being able to signal, being able to talk to each other, being able to defend together. When you're a beginner, you tend to defend by yourself. As you grow into the game, you will see the wonders of defense. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, what we summed up with is basically using signals to help each other. We saw discards, where we said a high one I liked, low I didn't, and we've seen high-low to say partner, I've got a doubleton. Okay, now obviously, if you don't play high-low, you don't have a doubleton. Hope you enjoyed that. See you again soon.